Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Sammy, United People's TV, here to kick off another week. Feels like it's been a while since I was here. What was it? Thursday was our last show. We're going to have to speak about that 2-0 defeat to West Ham, and I would say probably the strongest post-match press conference I think I've heard from Ruben Amorim. Bilbao or bust has been the case for a long time. You want a horrible stat to kick off the show? United haven't won in 7 in the Premier League. United have won 6 out of 24 under Ruben Amorim in the Premier League, and we are now 16th. We're going to run through all the post-match comments, his reaction. We're going to have a conversation. I've seen the, sack Amorim chat all gaining noise. I mean, I know a lot of it only exists on Twitter because Twitter is the cesspit. But I can see the conversation starting in the fan base. So we're going to talk through all today, full reaction to the game, and we'll talk about the week ahead. And as always, let's kick off the show by saying hello to everyone. Good morning to Stephanie, to Alex, and you're there as well. Carl, I saw you at the start of the show. As always, Josh, you'll be there. Steve, good morning to you. Ryan, we've got Mandla, Fred, John, Akash, and Ryan, Sean, Liam, John, Foxy, Harry Maldini. Look at that. Look at that. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, I don't know, wherever you are. Right, it's good morning where I am. Not particularly good morning, it's a very Monday morning, this one. It feels like a Monday morning. Now, I want to kick off the show in a different mood because this happened at the weekend. There's me twice, it's a bit weird, but it's worth celebrating, even if United are crap right now. Well, apart from the Europa League, and we'll speak about that towards the end of the show. It felt awesome to reach 500k over the weekend. I tried to celebrate it with the members, but didn't quite work out. So I wouldn't say that was my most professional stream, but we enjoyed that anyway, anyone who tuned in. But yeah, thank you all for helping the channel reach 500. And at some point, we will be consistently good again. And I know I've said that quite a few times, but it will happen. Football is cyclical. Football works in cycles. It's just the United cycle right now is, 13 years without a league. So yeah, thank you to everyone who helped make that happen. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to talk about United again. Jiu-Jitsu saying, "Well done, you've kept us from not going insane." I think I might have gone slightly insane in the process. Stevie saying this place in the channel has been my favourite. Thank you very much, dude, and just thank you to everyone. Honestly, that's what makes communities. Communities are made by the individuals. Like, United People's TV might be the vessel and we bring people together, but you make it what it is. And I think that's what makes United People's TV, in my opinion, the greatest United community that exists. It's a genuine community. And Mandla, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I can't wait to bring in that community leader. I'm working on the job advert later on today. Right. Bloody hell. I said it in my match reaction yesterday. The reason I didn't get annoyed in my match reaction was, it went exactly how I thought it was going to go. There wasn't anything in that game goes, oh man, I'm shocked, I'm surprised at that. Oh no, you did the exact same thing that you've been doing all season long in the Premier League, week in, week out, pretty much every single game. Like, that's 7 without a win in the league. And we won 6 out of 24. We're now 16th, people. Like, just think about that for a bit. Think about that. Manchester United Football Club, on the 12th of May, with 2 games remaining in the season, are 16th in the league. You're not going to see a worse season than this in your lifetime as a Manchester United fan. Now, Manchester United fan, the older generation, they watch United get relegated. That simply won't happen to Man United. Not Man United as it is now. Not after the work that Sir Alex Ferguson did with 13 titles. But this is as bad as Manchester United will ever be in the Premier League. You're witnessing it. Unfortunately, you're witnessing it. We've gone from having our worst ever season last season, finishing 8th, to finishing 16th. Just the problems at this football club. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I'm going to run through quite a few videos of what Amorim said after the game yesterday, but this is the first one, right? And this was him being asked how he feels as manager of Manchester United, who are 16th in the league.
How is supposed to feel a manager of Manchester United in that position? Embarrassed, and it's hard to accept. And I think everybody has to think seriously about a lot of things here. So everybody is thinking about the final. The final is not the issue in this moment in our club. We have bigger things to think, and we have to change a lot of things in the end of the season.
I don't think there's anybody that would disagree with anything that you said there. It is embarrassing. It's the only word you can use to describe it. Totally embarrassing where we are in the league. And winning the Europa League final is a backdoor entry to more money and a competition that we will not be able to compete in at this moment in time. The Champions League. Now, I want to know, right, your honest thoughts on Amorim, on the Premier League season so far, just on everything, right? What's your reaction? If you were asked that question, like obviously you're not manager of Manchester United or head coach, but what's your take on everything that's happened this season and where we are now with 2 games left in the league and the Europa League final coming up? I'll go down and I'll read some of your comments out because I think it's important to get community's perspective on this. Not just community's, but just different points of view, I suppose, that need to be talked through. Eric, oh wow. Gifting 20. Absolutely. Hero, thank you very much, man. Lee, right, let's go down and read some of your comments. Lee, you're saying he's spot on, it's embarrassing. I'm Steve, you're saying the players can't be bothered. I'm going to run through, is it this one here? It's exactly this. I'm going to run through something next, which is a follow-on from your point there. Zach saying it will be stupid to sack him. I think it worries me that there are United fans that feel otherwise. It worries me that there are United fans that sort of like that genuinely feel that, and they probably argue with Chester as well, that it would be the right decision. But I would also say I'm aware of the position I was in last summer. And I'll speak about Ten Hag a little bit later. Someone says, I fear for him next season. Connor saying, I think there's a real chance he gets sacked. He's been tainted by this season in the eyes of many. I wouldn't sack him because I hate this squad, but it's a possibility. I would say that this season will, I think it's a fair way to describe it, saying it would have tainted Amorim for some United fans. No, it hasn't for me. Because you know what it is, right? And this is the thing. I can't be bothered to do the research into this because I don't want to look at it. I can't be asked to look at it as a United fan. But I guarantee you, if I was to sit here and look at how many games this season under Amorim in the Premier League that I've come out of thinking, if only we had a better finisher, we would have easily scored 1, 2, maybe 3 goals. Like under Ruben Amorim, the problem from an attacking perspective has not been chance creation. We have just hit finishers all season long, directly impacting the results of games. Number 1. Number 2, how many times this season, under Ruben Amorim, have you come out of a Premier League game going, I cannot believe the mistake that X player made that led directly to a goal? Massive individual errors defensively that has directly led to United conceding goals and affecting results. Like, my biggest frustration under Amorim has been player quality. Are there things that you could... There's people that still genuinely... if only he showed tactical flexibility and tweaking this and tweaking that. And I've told you, like, he does. He plays 3 at the back. If he's got a team that is quality and sits on the front foot and all of a sudden has a front 5 because the wing-backs bomb forward. But when they're not and he has to sit deep, he'll drop into a back 5. Player quality has ultimately been the cause of United being crap in the Premier League under Amorim. That's my take on it. And player quality, like, this is the thing, like, this squad is not like, I can argue about player quality all I want, but there's no way that this squad should be finishing 16th in the league. Like, I know that it's like watching United sometimes, but this squad is not the same level as fucking Leicester and Ipswich, man. You're kidding me. Which is kind of part of the problem. But this quote here, this is what I want to speak about next, because he's articulated that much better than I did yesterday. It is exactly bang on. Before I do, Dean, man. Someone's just dropped in. Get the gong out, Sam. I will bring the gong out back sometimes. Maybe the gong is just 50 only. That's such a weird thing that the gong is still here. Gungshi, I blame you. But Dean, you gifted 50 memberships, man. Thank you very much. If only United were as successful as our community is. Seriously, it really is that. But thank you, man. I'm really honestly, from the bottom of my heart, and to everyone, we've reached 500k and you're gifting 50. Big up to you, dude. But this quote here is so bang on. Because I can only speak from my perspective here, and you can tell me if you agree. I said at the start of my match reaction yesterday that, when was the last time you cared about a Premier League game? When was the last time you cared? It's exactly what the players think. United aren't scared of losing a game anymore because there is no consequence. And that's what he means when he speaks about fear. And like, the same thing can be applied to anything in your life. If you don't have a fear of consequence, it's kind of how social media works, right? People have no fear of any consequences, so they will say outrageous, outlandish shit just to see if something sticks. There's no fear of consequence, right? These players should be terrified of losing every single week. But right now, and this has been the case for a long time, since Manchester United haven't really had the ability to finish inside the top four, so many of these players, at the back of their minds, they won't ever verbalise it or vocalise it. They all think, I mean, it doesn't really matter if we lose this one. I mean, I know we shouldn't, but I'm still going to get paid. But it doesn't actually matter. It doesn't really matter if we finish, because that's how I feel as a fan. It doesn't really matter if we finish 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. They're all crap. That's how these players think, and that's how these players have played for a long, long time. And you're down there saying it's not just about quality, it's about mentality. Well, this is exactly that point there. These players have not cared about losing a game in the Premier League for a long time. You're all going back to the game against City. Maybe that was it. I don't know when it was. But they are not scared of losing anymore. And that's what I mean when I say players don't care. They're not scared of the consequences of putting in another crap performance in the league, because ultimately, it doesn't actually change anything. The needle doesn't move. The needle's already moved. It's already pointing towards crap, and it can't go away from that. Even if you beat West Ham. Does that change the narrative of the season? No. If you lose against West Ham, just cranks up the pressure. I'm going to go down here and Frogman saying, isn't it the manager's job to make them care? And dude, I know this is going to be a very, very strange thing for me to try and compare it to. But I can only speak about my own personal life experiences, right? This is really going to be a random segue. I went through a divorce, right? And I really, really, really wanted her to see something and understand something. But she didn't want to listen. And you cannot, as much as you try, you cannot do something if you don't get some want from the other side. The players have to want to care. And then they'll listen to what the manager is saying. Otherwise, the manager will just bang his head against a brick wall. The manager could have all the best and right intentions, but if the players are sitting there going, really, I'm not actually listening to him, I don't really care, then he can scream and shout and do whatever he wants. He won't get the response. So no, I disagree with the idea that it has to be a two-way street. It will always be a two-way street in football. And to think that you can just put the responsibility on the manager and then go, oh, What, another fucking manager at Manchester United hasn't been able to get these players playing? What do you mean? Oh, it's definitely the manager's fault. Like, wake up. Like, I swear to God, if there's not United fans that have woken up at this point, yeah, you're never going to wake up. You are never going to wake up. I don't know what it is. Like a disease, man. This football club, so much of it. Ellen, oh, look at that. That's cool. Then I'm not active in the chat, but don't miss a second of the channel. The channel is the only good thing about following this terrible club. Hope you know how much we love you all around the world. That's a pretty damn cool comment, man. Thank you very much. It's something I noticed as well when I got to go to the game. Like, how many people came up and said hi, wanted a photo, just wanted a chat. It's awesome. Because I'm here so much, it feels quite small, but in reality, we're a big community, man. So big up to all of you. And let me go down here and read some of these chats. Dean, you're saying we're unbeaten in Europe and poor in the league. It shows it's a player's mentality. Should be on win bonuses. Yeah, I'd love to be able to redo a lot of the contracts that he's played, man. Akash, you said, we always said the buy-in from the players was going to make or break Ruben Amorim. Thank you for quoting that, man, because we said that right at the very, very, very start. And we are witnessing here exactly that. Players choose when these Manchester United players still are not professional. As a professional, right? You go in and you do your job. Sure, there's going to be mitigating circumstances that change whether you have a good day or a bad day. But ultimately, you go in there and you do your job. So many of these United players still choose when they want to play football. Oh, yeah, I fancy this. Go on, then. Oh, I don't fancy this. Can't be asked. It's happened so often. That's the sort of, you talk about the culture. You talk about the changes. And that's why Ruben Amorim will keep going on and saying this. Where is it? Not too many quotes going up here. Like, winning the Europa League, it doesn't make this season a success. Winning the Europa League it changes the roadmap. It changes the roadmap for next season. It accelerates things. It gives Ruben Amorim more of an opportunity to actually rebuild this squad. And that's exactly what he's saying here about the summer. And this is what I mean about this probably the strongest post-match press conference I've heard from Ruben Amorim.
Want that kind of attitude next season? Do those players, can it not be coached into them? Do they just have to be moved on? Or
which is exactly what someone just asked there. Surely you can coach it into these players that they need to care more.
Is it a mixture of...
I don't know. And I don't want to talk about players. I'm talking about myself and the culture in the club and the culture in the team. I have that feeling. We need to change that. And we need to be really strong in the summer and to be brave because we will not have a next season like this. If we start like this, or if the feeling is still here, we should give the space to different persons.
So that's Ruben Amorim there saying bluntly and just straightly, if we start like this next year, I'm going to get sacked. Give the job to someone else. If we continue this form next season, I've got no leg to stand on. And he'll be very aware of that. Of course he's aware of that. Then that's why you saw reactions like that from him on the bench yesterday. You know how it feels like it every summer because I think it's true every summer. Like, this is the biggest summer that we're going to have as a football club. Because every summer that you go on and you don't get closer to winning the Premier League and get it compounds the problem. So every summer becomes bigger than the previous one. So while it might be strange that you say it every summer, it's true every summer until you get it right. Every season that United get seemingly further, well, you can't get further, but of course we are. We're 16th now. Every season that United get further away, it makes the following summer even bigger. And the reason that this is such a big summer is because in a lot of United fans' eyes, Ineos have lost a lot of good favour. And Ineos have to crush this summer in bringing a lot of those fans back. And bear in mind, this man here said, I don't want the job now. I want the job in the summer. And United said, well, if you don't come now, you won't have it. He knew what he was walking into. Let me see what you're saying down here in the chat, right? And Scott, I don't really see, are there people that are just trolling here? Or I need to understand this, right? Amorim out. He's an absolute disaster of an appointment. He clearly shouldn't have got the United job. Now, I need to know in the chat, are you just trolling, or do you honestly think that? And are the United fans that genuinely think that? Because I see a lot of it, and I just look at it going, I mean, you're just an attention whore. All you want is someone to nibble and to get into an argument and then to like laugh and then just run away. Is what I imagine that comment is like, because I'd love you to justify that. Stephen, you're saying Amorim should walk away for this bad next season, and I wouldn't blame him. The players don't care. But if this continues next season, then the finger starts pointing towards Amorim. And that's what he knows that. That's why the summer is so essential. Like, it staggers me that this squad is 16th. Staggers me. I know I'm going to speak about players. I'm going to speak about the game itself, but we should not be 16th. Van Chase is saying, a few weeks ago you mentioned people to get in help. Sorry, you mentioned wanting people to help with research. If you want to get in touch, just email me, sam@unitedpeoples.tv. If you've got any sort of experience in research or anything you want to get involved in. Now, we won't be able to bring everybody in. I'll be completely honest, we get a lot of people who want to, so we have to kind of be choosy. But if you have the talent and you think a United People's TV could be a platform that you could use and sort of better yourself from, then come in. Let me see what you're saying. Amorim should have been given the job at the end of the season. Well, that's what happened when we made the Ten Hag decision. And it's something that I have to agree with other fans that do suggest this. We're now sitting here come May, with the cup final coming up, talking about the summer that's a massive summer, honestly not knowing if our manager will be here at the end of the year. Now, I think that's probably true, given the fact that we have finished 16th in the league. I don't think there'll be anybody behind the scenes that will be even having a discussion about Amorim being sacked. All focus will be on the Europa League final and the summer ahead and beginning next season. But if we were to begin next season, and that's why that comment is true, if we were to begin next season and come October, November time, and we've lost 6 out of our first 9 games, then the conversation will obviously switch. Just like Amorim says there, if we continue, you're going to give the job to someone else. Ian, you're saying there's no point getting rid of the manager. We need a guru to come in under them and change the culture and mindset of this team. I don't know how you do that anymore. It has to come from within the players, surely, at this point. Like, the culture has to, like, you know, there's two different types of pressure you can do. You can have top-down pressure to try and instigate the change from the top. But at the same point, you can't do that unless you've got the right sort of energy coming from the bottom, which is the players. So you won't ever truly be able to make a full Manchester United cultural reset unless you've got the right people at the top with the pressure from there and the right energy coming from the players. Eventually you'll meet in the middle and United start winning everything again. But a lot of it's going to have to come from the players. A lot of it. And none of it does. Well, not none of it. Like, I'm sure it does in some, but it comes in waves. That's what I mean about them not being professional. They choose when they want it to. Europa League, come on in. I'm bang up for this. Man City away. Come on then, I'm up for that. Liverpool away. Get into a scrap. West Ham at home. Brentford. Oh, come on, man. Can't be arsed. I've really got to turn up for work today. I don't want to. That's how so many United players seem to be operating this season. Anthony's saying it comes down to recruitment, personality, desire, needs to be considered just as much as ability. And that is something that is true. when it comes to making a successful signing anymore, so much of understanding what a player is off the pitch and away from football is more important than it used to be. Because of society and social media and the exposure these players are getting, what they have to deal with, etc., etc., they're far more impactful. What else are you saying down here? Dazzy saying we need a full clear out. I don't know how many. I haven't done a keep or sell video yet because I think it's a little bit dumb. Totally honest. I think it's a little bit dumb to do a keep or sell video before the end of the season. It's like, what are you doing it now for? Because you know that the conversation might change. So I'm going to wait until after the end of the season to speak about individuals and speak about players. Look, I'm going to do a separate video probably tomorrow, okay? Probably tomorrow. Just my honest opinion on Amorim. But the main crux of my opinion is quite simple. For the majority of the games where I don't think the result has been correct under Ruben Amorim in the Premier League, my main feeling coming out of that game has not been, Christ, I hate playing three at the back. Oh my God, the tactics were awful. Wow, what an awful coach. The majority of my opinion has been, I can't believe that we missed that many chances, and why on earth did we make so many mistakes? And for that reason, I'm focusing really heavily on the players now. I can see the system, and people were saying it needs tactical flexibility, and I would come back and immediately argue saying, you don't need more tactical flexibility than playing 3 at the back or 5 at the back. Defensive or really attacking. And you've got 2 that you can switch between, depending on how you want to approach a game. In the same way he played City in the Champions League under Sporting, went deep with the back 5, ended up playing on the counter-attack, won 4-1, and then after the game said, you know what? I can't do that as United manager. I know that. You can't be as defensive as that. But he also knows that this United team are still more comfortable playing in a low block, and he's not comfortable with that. And he is, quote-unquote, embarrassed. Embarrassed about where United are, and it's the only word you can use to describe this Premier League season, is embarrassing, because we are 16th. Manchester United are 16th. Let me read some comments out down here. Even our so-called leaders on the pitch, says Paps, turn up for certain matches. That's why they'll never win a Supreme. Man. I think that's probably the Jeez, I can't choose I can't choose between the thing that frustrates me the most about these players. But I think it has to be the fact that we can just turn up when we want and then just disappear into the shadows when we don't want. There's so much so many of these Manchester United players still think as individuals. And I don't know whether they do it on purpose or not, or whether it's just a subconscious self-preservation. I don't know what it is, but still, that's the underlying mentality of this football club. Self-preservation. An individual mindset. Rather than what is best for the team across the course of the season. And that's why in so many games like West Ham, we just check out. Nah, man. I don't need to risk getting injured here. I want to play in the Europa League final, man. It doesn't matter if we lose today. Irrelevant. Steve, you're saying you need to see changes from day one of the new season. No more pre-season games on crap pitches that cost us injuries. Players not on extended holidays. A decisive transfer decisions and a plan. Wahib, you're saying you fixed the forward line and we literally go up 8 places in the table. Jeez. We'll speak about the game. We'll speak about individuals now. What else are you saying down here in the chat? We don't turn up when we want, really. The Europa is very weak. And look, we're playing Spurs in the final, which of course is a Premier League team. So you're technically going to blend the two. You're technically playing in the Europa where we're undefeated this season, but you're also playing against a Premier League team who's beaten us 3 times this season. So what United's going to turn up? We know that United's going to turn up in the Europa League because they want to play. Oh, yeah, cup final. Yeah, go on then. Nice. Alex is saying, is it conceivable a coach gets sacked after losing a final? And you're Ruben. I think there's far more chance of Postecoglou getting sacked than there is of Ruben. Postecoglou's what? End of second season? Amorim's 7 months into the job. Yeah. And speaking of injuries, honestly, the most disappointing thing about yesterday was seeing Yoro walk off like that. Update on that. This is Yoro walking out the stadium. Don't need volume on that. So you can see him limping, not wearing a protective boot, which I think is a good thing, but limping out the stadium. And this is what Ruben Amorim said about him.
We have to assess Lenny in a better way tomorrow. He felt something, but I think it could be a small thing.
So you're saying it could be a small thing. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. Lenny Yoro has been not even a breath of fresh air, but in my opinion, a blueprint for what Manchester United centre-backs need to do, need to be able to do. You need to be able to defend, but you also have to be a bit of a playmaker. And Lenny Yoro has really developed himself very well in these last few months, man. Really has. So I'm hoping that was nothing more than precaution. I'll be honest, I'm not expecting Yoro to be fit. I think the way that he looked, Amorim's reaction on the sidelines, we'll find out. If he's not fit, you're probably going to be looking at a back three of Shaw left centre-back, Maguire in the middle, and Mazraoui right centre-back. I think so anyway. Let's go and keep reading some up here. And you think it's conceivable they both get sacked? Honestly, I've got to go back to this again. You think, and some United fans think, it's conceivable that we bring a manager in mid-season, watch him completely struggle in the league, watch him lose a cup final, of course, and then we sack him, and then we pivot somewhere else, and we bring in a new manager, and then we start again? Right. Okay. This is just, yeah, it's just, okay. Can't get my head around it. Hoyland, man. I really want to be supportive. I can't really anymore. I can't really anymore. I'll be honest. I think Hoyland is fortunate for the fact that we spent 72 million on him, and the amortized cost of Hoyland on our books means we won't be able to sell him for enough this summer to conceivably sell him. So I think Hoyland will be here next year, because I don't think United will be able to sell him for enough. But I still stand by the fact that Hoyland next season as a United player will be a better striker as a second choice striker. But my God, it's like he's allergic to goal scoring. He's been so afflicted by the troubles this season that he looks a bit broken now. I think that's what he looks like. He'll start the Europa League final. I very much doubt he'll score. I don't look at Haaland and think I see somebody who's choosing what games to turn up in. I just see somebody who I just can't score. He just can't seem to make the right decisions. It's just everybody down here, you know full well that I make my judgments on Manchester United players in their second seasons. I did the same on Anthony, and I think I've pretty much made my mind up on Haaland now. I think Haaland is a damaged player at Manchester United. It's not to think that I feel he won't go anywhere in his career and score goals. Nah, I just don't think that will happen in the Manchester United shirt. I think there is a distinct possibility that he is signed next season, but the fact that we spent 72 million on Haaland, it just makes you go, jeez, man. Can we please just at some point stop this? Can we? I politely ask, can we just stop this at some point as a football club? Spending £70 million on a Real Madrid midfielder who, look, Casemiro's had a cracking end to this season, but he was not the De Jong replacement. He was a panic signing. 72 million on Jadon Sancho. The less we talk about that, the better. I think they're literally going to pay a fee to send him back to us. And then you've got Haaland, and it's just so... Goes back to it again and again and again. Like, Manchester United have been incredible at wasting our own money. You know, sometimes you come out from a night out and you're like, you're in the morning, you're like, don't want to look, don't want to look, don't want to look. But you look at your bank account and you're like, when did I do that? Oh, dear. That's what it's like looking at United's recruitment history. Just, done it again. Bloody done it again. What are we saying down here? Well, I can see the majority of the chat. Haaland is that's exactly the way to describe it. Haaland is drowning, man. Haaland is drowning. I think if he stays next season, as I said, I think Haaland becomes a far better second choice striker for Manchester United. I think the release of that pressure, eyeballs going elsewhere for the lack of goals, will help him. Dean is saying, Sam, that is the reason we're 16th, because of the crap signings. I'll stand by what I said. I think Manchester United actually had a better summer transfer window last summer than we have had in years gone by. But the comparison of that is not particularly great. I'll be honest. Like what you're comparing last summer to goes, well, it's not exactly hard to be better than that, is it? We've got to have the summer of summers, man. The summer of summers. I'll be here. You'll be here. And if you are here and you're not subscribed to United People's TV, make sure you come on board. He's never been bought in the first place as first choice. We remember that summer. That was a summer where... Who else was available? I'm trying to remember. Harry Kane, but Spurs were never going to sell to us. And we're also not going to pay 120... I don't know how much it would have been. It would have been over 100 million for Harry Kane. Who was it? There was a striker from Germany as well. Did he go to PSG? Can't remember. Marcus Thuram should be the one you're annoyed about. Right? He went to Inter on a free. Right there. Guirassy is another one as well. People are like, ooh, maybe a one-hit one. Nah, he's just gone to Dortmund and he's absolutely nailed it. It was like 30-odd million. We've got to get it right. Sesko, we were never going to be able to afford Sesko. That's it. Kolo Muani. Here's the other one. So Muani went to PSG, ended up going on loan to Juventus. It didn't quite work out with him there. Weren't really going to sign Osimhen. I genuinely think that Marcus Thuram is the one that anybody should be annoyed about. There's no point getting annoyed about Harry Kane, the fact we didn't sign him, because it wasn't going to happen. Guirassy was, I think, in January, rather than... Was that January just gone? I think it might have been. It was 70 mil on Haaland. Wah-wah-wee-wah. 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 You can't not really have a conversation about this, lad. I'm really interested to hear what the community thinks about this. Right? Let me talk. What's everyone's standpoint on Ugarte? I didn't know what he was doing yesterday with that mistake for the second goal. It felt like, what it looked like is Ugarte thought that whatever, I'm not sure who the player was pressing down on him, but he thought he was closer to him than he realised. So when he leant back, there was nothing to lean on. So he just sort of like fell backwards and just kind of like dropped on the floor. And then obviously they scored from it. I personally kind of stand by what I feel. I think that Ugarte is good at what he does and bad at what he's not good at. And I feel that if you sign the right midfield partner for Ugarte, I think he can absolutely be an asset to this team. I think he'll be an asset with limitations. But I don't look at Ugarte and see a bad signing. I look at Højlund now and I see a bad signing. I don't look at Ugarte and see one. And again, it's probably for the fact that it's his first season, right? I will always be more forgiving for a player in their first seasons. Let me see what you're saying. Phil, you're saying, why can't he play a full game? I'm pretty sure that's more of a tactical decision rather than... Amorim always takes him off around about 60 minutes, doesn't he? Connie's saying he's unreliable on the ball, clunky and inconsistent, not able to build up with reliability or progression. Another expensive howler to replace. And there's no way that I would call Ugarte an expensive howler. I just think people are... I know it's just the opinions of... It's the way that it works. It's extremes. Like Ugarte's not a howler of a signing, man. Like Jadon Sancho is a howler, right? That is a howler. Boom. Did absolutely nothing at any point for this football club. That's a howler. Ugarte, being very good at what he does right, but bad at what he doesn't, which you knew about before you signed him, doesn't make him an expensive howler. That's the way I look at it. I just think people go extreme on it. But at the same time, it's just kind of a consequence of the frustration that all United fans have got right now. I wouldn't say it's witch hunting. I just think that people don't like sitting like you're not possibly allowed to sit in the middle. You have to be either in or out. Just with anything and with any opinion about any manager or any player. You can't possibly just sit somewhere in the middle and understand both points of view. It's not how it works. That's not possible. Right. I also want to have a conversation about this lad. Just to see your points of view. Kind of like, you can argue me if you want, dude. You say I'm being too kind, you're being too extreme. Truth is, it's probably somewhere in the middle. Kobbie, right? I feel Kobbie's long-term future is closer to the goal. And I've seen people speaking about Kobbie having to, Kobbie should learn how to be the deeper number 6, and Amorim's using him wrong. And I don't think that is the case. But I look at what I think I want from United's number 10s, and I look at Cunha, who ideally will come in. And I think Cunha could be a very, very good signing, especially from an attitude perspective. In a good sense, he'll be an arsehole. I look at Kobbie and I think he's had a bit of a confusing season. Is that a fair way to describe it? It's been an injury. He was injured when he came into the start of the season. He was definitely fatigued. And then he missed 6-7 weeks with injury. And I know you keep going on about the fact that you don't see Kobbie's long-term future at United. Well, I do. But I don't know exactly where. Because I look at these two number 10s now, and I think one of the biggest things that they have to be is like a supreme athlete. Like Cunha I'm going to keep looking at Cunha. It's probably because I'm looking at Cunha. But I think from an athletic perspective, there are weaknesses to Mainoo's game. I think the technical quality is where Kobbie shines. Ball at his feet, drifting through gaps, finding spaces, passing in triangles. Kobbie Mainoo suits a football team which plays more compact and closer together. And I think with the system of Amorim, sometimes those number 10s are going to have to cover a lot of space on their own. And I think that's where Kobbie doesn't look as good, which is why I have to question where exactly will he be settling in? Like Will, you just said they're playing as a false 9. I mean, that's only because we haven't got any other strikers. I think that's where I've got the questions. I look at Kobbie and see someone who's technically so extremely gifted, but I think the prerequisite for the number 10s, like you have to be an athlete. And I think that's those two are a little sort of juxtaposition. And boss man, you're going down there saying, well, we sell Xerxes as well then, surely. Isn't a number 9 slowing the number 10? Yeah, Xerxes has an uncertain future, but technically, absolutely brilliant with the ball at his feet. And we keep talking about the fact that we need technical players. We need to raise the technical floor of the squad at the same time as raising the athletic floor of the squad. Yeah, Kobbie hasn't signed a new contract yet. Conversations have been going on all season long, and there's no there's no conclusion to it just yet. We'll find out at some point, I suppose. As you're saying, this club is on life support. Oh, that's the wrong one. 500,000, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't say the club is on life. Who am I kidding, man? Wrong one again. We've been sat here for... Like someone said down there, the last Premier League game they cared about was City in the league, right? Let me just check how long ago that was. 6th of April. I'm not sure I've really cared about that one either. Did I really care about that one? Maybe. I mean, I suppose I did. It was City in the league. Fair. Well, how many games do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 Premier League games ago. This here. I hate the fact that we're playing an English team. Totally honest, I hate the fact. We don't need to preview this game yet. We're doing that next week. But I think probably the most important quote that Amorim said yesterday was this. Because it's so true. And it has been for a long time, but there's these Manchester United players. There's no consequence of losing a game in the Premier League anymore. So why do I need to put in the effort? Why do I need to... Why? Why have I got to turn up for my job this weekend? Why? You're inconveniencing my life. You're inconveniencing my weekend. I want to... If I've really got... fine. That's how it feels. United players have approached Premier League games and will approach Chelsea on Friday, by the way. That's going to be the attitude going into the game. No matter how many changes are made, no matter what's said in the pre-match press conference, whatever's said in the pre-match in the dressing room, the exact same thing's going to happen against Chelsea. And the exact same thing's going to happen against Villa. And there's nothing that Ruben Amorim can do to change that. No threats, no dropping anybody, no punching TVs, no explosive press conferences, nothing. None of that is going to change for those two games. Because United aren't scared of losing another game at United. We can't get relegated. And we can't finish higher than what? 12th, 13th? Why do I care? However, this game, very, very different. Unfortunately, we play a Premier League team, which has been our downfall. So I've no idea what to expect. But I know it might not look like it. I'm excited to go. I'm buzzing for it. To be able to watch United in a European final in Spain with 15,000 Reds. Got the ticket as well. Got the ticket in the best spot, right behind the goal. I can't wait for it. And I hope that these players don't let this manager down, because I see this manager and I believe in him. Sure, yeah, Sam, you idiot. You believed in Ten Hag. Yes, so did you. And then at some point you realised after that second season with the tactical switch and it all just went wrong, you couldn't really trust him anymore. I look at Ruben Amorim and I see somebody whose not heart is in the right place. It's not heart. Whose head is in the right place. It's not pulling any punches. It's embarrassing this season. If I start this season, if we carry on and start next season, you're going to sack me. I'm going to go. He might walk himself. But win the Europa League and we can bookend this season and say, well, that's the most embarrassing season that we've ever had in the Premier League. And we're still in the Champions League. And it is a lifeline and a half. It's a massive plaster on this season. But it's one that we need. And then, look, come on, man. We're probably going to lose to Chelsea. I expect it now. So do you. And so do these players. And exactly why Ruben Amorim said, look, these players, they're not scared of losing anymore. Let me read something down here. Spurs is equally as poor. That's the thing that always cracks me up, man. How are Spurs having a worse season than us? Seriously. Seriously. They've had the same manager all season as well. They've had a worse season than us. Mind-boggling. I think Kulusevski went off injured, didn't he? Maddison's injured as well. They've had injury problems. Oh. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Why are we staying down here? All right, Dylan, you're obviously coming out scrapping for some reason. Again, just a bit of a trolling comment, so there's no point in reading that one out. Scott, to be accused of being a troll by a person who has said he doesn't care about the league and thinks the manager can do nothing about the team he trains, selects, and sets up is truly something. I was just asking you a question, dude. You don't have to get too offended. So, I think the manager can do nothing about the team he trains. Right, okay. Okay. That's why I said that, didn't I? I've made it abundantly clear that when it comes to Manchester United and the problems that we have, it has to be a two-way street. And Ruben can try as he might. But if you don't get the want from the players, and fucking clearly you're not getting the want from the players in the league, like how much more evidence do you need? We've lost 17 games. Europa League. Go on, boys. Woo! Up for this. Premier League. Piss off. Piss off. And that's on the manager, though. Cool. You do you, Scott. I'll do me. The United fan base. Have a good argument, don't we? It'd be nice once we're all united again at some point in the future. Would you not be worried about the league next season, even if we win the Europa League? Of course, man. How can you not be? How can you not be terrified about what it is? And that's why I agree with some of the comments that came up there, saying that there definitely has been some residual damage to Ruben Amorim that has been done by this Premier League season. I agree with that. You can't finish 16th in the league as Manchester United manager and pretend that there won't be any sort of long-term impact. There will be. It means that he's starting off on a couple of steps further down at the start of next season. And everybody will be going forward and saying that the expectations are that we come in straight away and boom, we win straight away. There won't be leeway given to Ruben Amorim. There won't be as much leeway given to Ruben Amorim at the start of the league next season because we finished 16th in this season. And I think that's understandable. And I think that's justified. I'm going to do my lunchtime video on the game yesterday. Going to pull out the most important talking points and just a little bit of a synopsis of kind of everything we spoke about today. Tomorrow I'm going to do a separate video, sort of my opinion on Amorim, the season we've had so far. And yeah, I'm sure that I'd say the talking points are important this week. The conversations that we're all going to have as United fans are important. And yeah, I'll try my best. Look, you won't always agree with everything I say. That's the world of opinions. I try to be as balanced as I possibly can. I'm not coming here with Ruben Amorim tinted glasses. Oh, he hasn't done anything wrong. Oh, he's perfect. No. But I think the extremes that other people are saying and trolls. But 2 games left. There's 2 games left in this season in the Premier League and a European final, which we will enjoy, hopefully.